Okay. So in today's class, it will be an interesting class because it will introduce you to the new device in the area of analog design. Actually, this one. We will not go into the details because somewhere down the line this device will be used more frequently in this course. But right now we will be giving you a brief introduction of this device. But the internals of that device can be studied in this course in more details. So we will be studying only the terminal properties of this device, and we will understand what this device is and why we are using it. Okay, so the new device that is coming in front of you, which is actually the device which normally will be found in most of the chip designs, I will explain this later, but this is the basic elementary block and a very important block in the area of electronics design, and this we call as operational amplifiers. Operational amplifiers. I will make you understand what this amplifier is in few seconds, but bear with me for that time. But just now, this particular thing we are defining it as operational amplifiers, and in short, we call them as op amps. This is the uh, you know short form of operational amplifiers. So the important thing is when you will go to the lab, you will physically find whenever you find this particular device, you can immediately recognize this as an op amp because first of all, the name of this op amp is 741. So if you see on the top of this casing, you will find a number written 741. So this is a very famous op amp circuit which was used in older older times, like in 90s and in 2000. People used to use this particular type of operational amplifier, discrete amplifier. We also use it now also because it's a discrete component and it's not a integrated component. So this you can use it in your labs. And if you see here, this is a notch here. So this notch, or you can say a small circle, denotes the counting of the pins from where we have to start. So we have to start from this notch. So this is the first pin, this is the second pin, this is the third pin, this is the fourth pin, and at the back this is the fifth pin, then sixth pin, and then at the back it will be 7 and 8. So there are 8 pins here in this particular black small integrated chip. And if you want to see the layout of this particular internal details of this particular black box, it's like this. So here you can see we have this notch here, right? A black spot. This black spot corresponds to this black spot here. And corresponding to this, you have one, which is the lead terminal coming out from this. So you will apply your electrical signals to these nodes which are coming out. So these are the conducting wires which are actually coming out of this integrated black box chip. This is the, we will explain you what these are, but you can say this is the second terminal and this is the input terminal. Actually, you will apply input into this second terminal and this is called as inverting terminal. We will understand all these terms in the coming slides, do not worry about it, but for now you can understand that this is the inverting terminal, the second terminal, and it will be a input to this device. You will input something from this pin or from this pin. Then we have a non-inverting terminal, which is pin 3. Here also you can put your input. So there are 2 ports from where you can feed your input into the op amp. This is the power supply, like you have to power the circuit, right? So whenever you have a chip, you have to power it, you have to apply voltage to it, otherwise it will not come into action. So this is basically the minus terminal of that battery, which you will connect to the fourth terminal. Minus terminals nowadays are not, people are not using. Earlier they used to use plus and minus bipolar supplies, but nowadays what they are doing is they are using unipolar supplies where you have V and ground. Earlier they used to use V and minus V, but nowadays they use V and ground. So here what you can do is you can actually connect this to ground in your breadboard. So this is actually the minus terminal. This is not connected, so you will not connect anything onto it. It's a non-connected pin. Then this is the plus V terminal. So here what you will do is you will apply a plus VDC here, a battery like this, VDC of value, whatever value it will have. Like, you know, if you take 5 volts, so you will apply a 5 volt battery to this 7th terminal, which is the 7th pin of this uh, operational amplifier, this one. Then we have output. So you are feeding something, you must get something output also, right? There is no point in having a device with only inputs and no output. So you will take output from here. This is the output pin, and this is the 6th pin of this operational amplifier, and this will be the one where from where you will take the output. And this, you do not worry about it, it will be dealt later on in the advanced courses, but this is null pin, so we do not want to discuss here the functionality of this, but this is the null pin and this will be left open. And typically like for example, you have resistances represented like this, inductances are represented like this, capacitances are represented like this. In the same way, operational amplifiers are represented on circuits like this, with plus, with minus, and this. So this is basically one of the two inputs. So this is first input, this is the second input, input 2, this is input 1, and this is the output, which is actually, this output is actually the 6th pin, and the plus terminal which I am writing here means this corresponds to non-inverting terminal, the 3rd pin, and the minus corresponds to second input, which is the inverting terminal, which is given by 2nd pin in this particular pin diagram. To simplify and make
This
you
is a triode.
sorry.
Is this a triode?
No, 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 it's not a triode. Triodes were used earlier back in 1970s, so they are gone. After triodes, BJT came, and then after BJT we have MOSFETs. So basically, I will show you what you are trying to ask for. Actually, if you want to go into the internals of this device, it will look like this. If you see here. So inside this box, inside this black box, there are tons of these transistors. There are tons of these transistors. So if you count, there will be, I think, 15, 16 transistors within this, within this black box. So you can see the idea of integrated circuits. Idea of integrated circuit. So the idea of integrated circuit is how you are actually integrating these transistors. So this particular thing is the discrete transistor which you will find in the lab, and you can see how big this is, and you can observe from this figure, and you can hold it in your hand, and then you will realize how big this transistor is. But if you want to make this particular circuit diagram on a breadboard, then you will realize it will take a lot of space here, because there are so many wirings and connections and supplies, and these transistors itself are so big, and you can observe that it will take large amount of space on a breadboard. But the idea of integrated circuit is how to actually compress this bigger space on a breadboard into a very small tiny space like this. If you see the op amp, this particular thing, it will be only this much, whereas on breadboard it will take this much amount of space. So you can see how much space is reduced when you integrated the whole breadboard into a smaller space like this. So this is basically the concept of integrated circuits, where you are actually putting so many transistors which are big in size, and wiring also in a very small space. So right now here it is looking very big, but if you put it in your integrated chip or IC, it will take only this much amount of space. So this is the idea of integrated circuit. So the triodes which you are saying were earlier used in place of these transistors. These transistors. So whatever transistor you have here, you replace it by a triode. But nowadays, these transistors are also not used. In place of these transistors, we use MOSFETs like this. So note that we use MOSFETs here. This is also gone. So still people are doing courses on this, but somewhere down the line these are not used too much nowadays. But they are good for understanding the fundamentals. But nowadays people are using MOSFETs. Understood the point?
Sir,
Any
do
questions
we,
here related to the concept of integrated
yes,
circuits?
sir. Sir, do we need to remember this whole circuit?
No, 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 no. This is just for your interest, I am telling. So I wanted to explain you what is there inside this. No need to remember all
Sir,
this.
you were showing triode and telling that it is also one type of resistor. That I didn't
Not
understand.
register. It was a device like this.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, sir.
not a register.
Sir, could you explain what you connect that seventh pin again?
Uh, 7 pin. Oh, this 7 pin is actually a
Yes.
supply voltage. You connect it to a voltage. You have a, let us say, you have a battery like this. Okay. So this battery plus terminal will go to this 7 and minus will go to ground. And since this is also connected to ground, will you all agree that this is and these two are connected together because both of them are ground?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So somewhere down the line, you are actually powering with plus potential, putting plus on 7th and ground on the 4th terminal. Okay.
Thank
Sir,
you.
I wanted to know that does this 741 have any meaning or just like 741?
Meaning in what sense you are saying?
For example, 741 means having like 7 resistors and like that way.
No, no,
Any
no. It's a
meaning in
name
that?
given to this device. So there is no specific reason for why this name is. Even I also don't know, but maybe you can find on web if you can find out why they are keeping it as 741. You also tell me. Okay. So it's just a name. There is no specific reason for this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so no need to remember this. This is just for your information that what is the idea of integrated circuits, and these are called as discrete circuits, which you will find in your lab. So these are the category of discrete circuits which you will actually use for laboratory purpose for using them on breadboard. And this is basically the concept of integrated circuit where you will be encapsulating all these discrete circuits into a small box like this, which is shown over here. So this is basically
Sir,
integrated circuit. Yeah,
yeah, 741 means कि 7 functional pins,
okay,
4 pins capable of taking input, 1 output pin.
good, good, good.
741.
Oh, so I didn't know that. So it's good actually. If you have told
Yeah,
this,
it's
even this has
functional
added to
name.
my knowledge also. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So any questions here related to this particular topic?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, what is the use of this not connected pin?
Somewhere down the line, we are not using it actually. They may use it for some other purpose in later future, but right now they have kept it as open. So you should not connect it to anything here. So maybe they have created this particular output port, but they are not using it. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Sir, can you explain that inverting and non-inverting once again?
Yes, yes,
Like,
I will explain that. So, inverting means what? In simple terms, it is like this, if you apply a signal like this, and if you get a signal which is inverted like this, so that's why, that pin is called as inverting pin because whatever signal you apply here, you will get at the output 180-degree out of phase of that. That's why it's called as inverting pin. And the non-inverting pin means if you are applying an input like this, you will get uh, a signal like this only in same phase. It will not be out of phase. So that's why it's
it
non-inverting
means, sir,
circuit.
like if we are giving any signal, then from non-inverting, if we are giving, then inside the box, the same signal will go. But
Can you
from
can you come
if
again?
we,
Can you repeat again? Your voice was this
So
not
is it
clear.
yes,
like NPN,
sir,
PNP transistor difference? That
No, 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 no.
anti-phase phase?
No, no, do not take that into account here. That is a different thing. Here, non-inverting means simply when you apply any input, the output will be in the same phase. And when you in the inverting terminal, when you apply input, output will be 180-degree out of phase. That is the way. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, what I'm trying to tell is like if we are uh, applying some curve, like some sinusoidal voltage, then it will be 180-degree in phase or out of the phase. Like
No. See, whatever phase you apply, that does we don't care. But whatever input that you are giving, the output will be 180 out of phase of that. Okay.
okay, yes.
That is
So, sir,
non-inverted.
it
What
would
is
double
inverted?
the voltage or what?
What is the question?
Means, sir, if we are inverting and non-inverting, we are giving this as an input. So, will it cause any means like becoming the जो हमने voltage input किया उससे double voltage output होगा या ऐसा कुछ होगा?
नहीं, हाँ, वो amplification होता है उसमें. So it is these devices are used for amplifiers. I will explain all of it in the coming slides. Do not worry.
Okay,
Everything
sir.
will become clear once you go down to the next slides. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So basically, this is showing you the integrated chip. This is basically an integrated chip where you will find these op amps somewhere, here, and there are millions of these transistors. You will find these op amps or MOSFETs, which I was telling you, in this portion, and there are millions of such transistors, millions, and quite possibly billions of such transistors in this small space. So this is the idea of integrated chips, and this is basically the inductor which you are studying in your this course. So inductors are placed like this in a spiral fashion, like this. So this is basically the way we lay down the inductors here.
So that's a toroid or a simple inductor?
It's a simple inductor, but it is in the chip design you place it like this. So this is basically a if you go into the details, this is basically a radio frequency integrated chip, which normally is there in your mobile phones. So in mobile phones, you actually transmit and receive the signals, because when you are speaking to someone, you will be transmitting the signal, right, and you will be receiving the signal. So this chip is actually responsible for that. So you can see so many inductors are there. These are the inductors, these are the inductors. So one thing you will observe is these inductors actually consume lot of space compared to the MOSFETs or op amps, which is over here. See, this is only a single inductor which is consuming so much of space, whereas there are billions of transistors within this amount of space. So people are coming up with some advanced ways of reducing this space by creating different type of inductors which can reduce this space which is so big here. So this is just for your
So bigger size of inductor means bigger the value, right?
Yes, that is true. But the thing is, what I was trying to explain here is this is a chip which is a very small chip, but a lot of space is consumed by these inductors, which is not good. So people try to come up with different ways of reducing this size also. So this is just giving you a brief overview of like what is integrated ICs. And if you see here these things, these are actually the connections which you are taking out from these chips. So when you take out these chips, the white lines which you are seeing here, these white lines are connected at the border of this, it will be here. So from here you take the signal out. So these are actually called as IO drivers. So this is basically input output drivers. So from these inputs you will feed the signal in, and from some of them you will feed the signal out. Okay. So all this is basically the idea of integrated chips.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I'm kind of confused that op amps and MOSFET are the same thing, or MOSFET are the replacement for transistors in the op amps.
Yes, op amps are sorry, yeah, just a second. MOSFETs are actually replacement of bipolar junction transistors, but these are actually used in they are interconnected with each other to form a op amp. So here all these BJTs these are all BJTs, right? So they are all interconnected to form a bigger op amp. So MOSFETs are used in place of these transistors. Okay?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So Now the big question which comes to everyone's mind, and somebody was asking me also, that is, what is the use of these devices? So the most important use of these devices are that they are actually used in amplifiers. That is the primary purpose of using these operational amplifiers, op amps, or in short, you can see the amplifier is written within the name itself. So the main job of this device is to amplify the signal. So what it means is, if you have, this is a simple diagram to illustrate that. So when you speak something in a mic, you will observe that your voice will be amplified through the loudspeaker. So if you have seen some politicians also speaking through the loudspeaker, then you will observe that they were speaking slowly here, but how come the device is actually amplifying the signal? So how come the voice is coming so large, even if they are speaking in a mic in a normal fashion, the way they speak with each other? So basically the main driving force which actually converts these small signals, which is given over here, you can see we have a very small signal like this to a bigger signal like this, so basically this is the device which is actually responsible for doing that. So what happens is, whatever you speak, which is of having very smaller amplitude, will be converted to a bigger amplitude like this, which will be then passed through the loudspeaker, and you will listen to this bigger amplitude waveform, is done by using these type of amplifiers. And specifically you are using op amps here to do that. Okay, so basically operational amplifiers main purpose is to amplify the voice signal which is actually fed into the operational amplifier. So basically this microphone will be connected here. This microphone will be connected here or here, depending upon the way you are designing it. So these are the inputs, and here you will connect the loudspeaker at the output. The loudspeaker will be connected here. Okay, so this is the amplifier concept. And any questions here? So this is quite easy, right? So there is no problem here. So let me tell you one important thing now. Just a second, I will see my notes where they are.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, how do we control amplification?
How do we?
Control amplification.
Yeah, that will be controlled by using the external resistances that we will be applying at the outside of this amplifier. So I will show you that also. And these amplifications will be controlled by the connections that you will be using outside. I will show you that. So once you have these resistances, then you can control these resistances to indirectly control the amplifier gain. Okay, I will explain you now this particular thing which you are asking. So what we will do now is, we will understand what this amplifier is, the idea of amplifier. As you will see in your course, there is one line written over there, that is the idea of amplifier. So let us see what this amplifier is and understand the basics of that. So let me draw a circuit which you already are now comfortable with. So this is your source. So it's like, you are using a mic. So that mic is represented by this voltage source Vs, and let us have a small resistance also, Rs, of this particular source, and then we have R in here. Okay, and then we have one voltage controlled voltage source of value AV in, and then we have R out this side, and then you have a load resistance, and then you have V out this side. This load resistance is basically the loudspeaker. Okay, so this is the loudspeaker, and this is the microphone that you are using at the input. And what we are trying to do is, we are actually trying to understand the properties of the amplifier, like what kind of amplifier, what amplifier should be like, what are the properties of that. So this particular thing which I am drawing in green box is basically the amplifier model. Simplistic amplifier model. It's a simple amplifier model. So your operational amplifier can be represented using a simple Rin and a voltage controlled voltage source having a factor of A multiplied with it and a R out inside it. So you cannot see this R in and R out. You have a black box like this. So this is basically the operational amplifier plus minus this one. So you have these things, right? So what we are trying to do is we are actually replacing this complex circuit into a very simple circuit which we already know in terms of resistances, voltage controlled voltage source and a R out. Okay. Any questions here? Okay. So if there are no questions, so what we are trying to do now is we are trying to find out the gain because we are interested in gain, right? So we are trying to find out, let me do not, okay. So we are trying to find out gain, and what will be the gain? Gain is basically defined as V out over V in. This is basically what we are calling as gain. Okay. And V out is basically what? V out is output that you are getting at the load resistance, that is speaker. On speaker you will get some higher output waveform, right? So that voltage waveform which you are getting at the speaker, you divide it by the small waveform which you are feeding into the amplifier. So this V in is actually the V in that you will get at this value. Okay. So यहाँ पर क्या है? यहाँ पर you will have a small signal like this which is going inside this amplifier model, and what you are getting at the output is a bigger signal. So you want to calculate the ratio of the amplitude of the output divided by the input. So that is called as gain of the amplifier. Any questions on this?
Sir, this gain is of voltage gain.
Yes.
Then after like current gain is also like in semiconductors, it was like in transistors different.
Yes. Current gains can also be there. Like, you know, if you want to replace this particular device with a Norton equivalent, how will you do that? You will replace it by how? How will you replace this by a Norton equivalent? You can replace it by Norton equivalent. I don't
सर आरएन के पैरेलल में आरएस लगा के वीएस by आरएस का करंट सोर्स लगा दीजिए.
So you will replace it by a Norton equivalent like this, where the value of this current source will be Vs by Rs, and then you will have a parallel resistance like Rs here. Okay, and then you can find out V out by I in also. So there is no constraint. You can find different type of transfer functions. V out by V in, I out by I in. I don't want to go into the details of that because we are sticking to this V out by V in factor only. Then you can calculate V out by I in also, and then you can calculate V out by V out, I out by I, V out by I, and then you can calculate I out by V in also. So all these things are possible. But right now we are actually focusing on V out by V in only. Okay?
Sir?
Yes.
So we got this, you have marked this simple amplifier model, but in the examination or anywhere in general questions, will it be marked or we have to make out that on our own?
No. So there is no point in marking or, you know, thinking of, this is just for explaining the concept. You understand?
Yeah, but we have to have to recognize that where will be the V in, because there are so many sources like VS is also there. Then we have to recognize which part of the circuit will be V in, and because circuits won't be this simple, right? So we do have to recognize that which part will be the load resistance and V out and like that.
Sometimes normally it is given in an exam. Okay. Normally it is given, but normally, you know, if you see something with a subscript L, then you can say, okay, this is the load resistance, because normally people write load resistance with the subscript L. So, but there is no convention. They can use R2 also, but they will define that this is the load resistance. Okay. And regarding this, you know, making a box onto this and saying that this is an amplifier model, if somebody wants to specify and wants to ask you something on this specific model, then they will specify it, otherwise they will not do it. But do not get worry about it, because this is quite trivial actually. No need of keeping this box also. This is for my explanation, I was doing it for you. but there is no specific rule that they will say this is an amplifier and they will draw the box. They will specify if they want to ask questions specifically for amplifier model in the circuit. If they do not want to ask, they will straight away draw this circuit. They will not ask you like draw a bounding box on the amplifier, like which is the amplifier, draw that. So they will not do that. Okay.
Yes.
Sir, here where we will connect that op amps.
Here where you will connect the op amp is what you are asking?
Like in this circuit, you said that we use for amplification.
Yes.
So where will you connect op amps?
So op amp will be connected like this here. This is your output pin here. So this is 6th pin, this is 2nd pin, this is 3rd pin, or whatever, plus minus, I forgot. So yeah, so it will be somewhere down the line like this. This will be minus, this is this is plus, this is minus, and then you have output pin, which is the output port. Okay, so we are actually replacing this op amp by a simplified model which looks like this. Okay,
Sir,
yes.
sir, in that model, that common wire just makes the potential common, right?
Yes.
No other use.
Which common wire you are asking? This one?
Sir, that one.
Yeah, this will be a ground actually. You can take it as ground. Okay.
Yeah, because there's no meaning for that for a current to flow. So
No, it's
just
not
the
about the
potential.
meaning actually. What happens is we normally take grounds, as I told you last time, that grounds are essential to, because somewhere down the line you are actually calculating this voltage V out, right? So this voltage V out is not hanging in space. It will be calculated in relative to some potential. So normally this V out is nothing but it is VOG, where VOG means VO minus VG, and where VG is this VG, this G. Okay. So
Yes.
because VO minus VG and VG is 0, so it will be VO itself. So normally V out or any voltage will be with respect to the some specified potential. So it hardly matters, which ground you are taking. Normally what happens is we take where the maximum connections are connected and there is no internal wiring here. So normally we take ground at that point. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So now we are interested in calculating the gain of the amplifier, which is the basic purpose of operational amplifier. So let us see what that gain will be. So if you see here, what you will observe is like let me erase this. So this is your V in actually, or I can write V in like this also because both of them are same. So what I will do is I will just change colors here. So this current is flowing in this branch. Let us say it's I1. So what will be the value of V in with if you want to calculate it in terms of Vs? Will you all agree that V in will be Rin over Rin plus Rs times
Into
Vs?
Vs.
All of you will agree with this? Any problems here?
Yes, sir. No problem.
So if anyone has any question, they can ask me on this. There is no problem in that. So if you have any questions, like yes.
Sir, how the way you converted it into that Norton circuit, I was confused in that. So can you
Okay, I
please?
will explain that later. Because right now you focus on this first, okay? Because that is not that important. This is important. I will tell you later on what that is, okay? So right now, any questions on this? Okay. So if everybody is okay with this, so V in is actually represented in terms of Vs as this factor. Okay. So now what will be V out? So if I want to calculate V out, will all of you agree that it will be RL over RL plus R out times AV in? Any questions?
No.
If I write like this?
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
So
sir.
No, sir.
so what we will do now is we will actually substitute this value of V in to this. So if I substitute that value, it will be A times RL over RL plus R out, and then you have Rin over Rin plus Rs, then you have V in here. So what I will do is I will actually, Vs. Here you will have Vs. So what I will do is I will actually remove this Vs from here and I will keep it this side. So this is actually nothing but gain A. Okay, fine. So if you have this, which is given as gain equal to A times RL over RL plus R out, Rn over Rn plus Rs. So what we were saying earlier, that the gain will be A, right or not? We wanted our gain to be A because you can see here this A is coming from this factor. So whatever you are applying as input, it is directly converted into A times the input. So if the input signal is like this, it is converting directly into a bigger signal of like capital A here. So we want gain as A. But here what is happening? This A is multiplied by the ratio of the resistances here. So will you all agree that this A will be multiplied with some factor which is less than 1? Like it will be 0.8 or something like that. Will you all agree on that or not?
Yes, sir.
So that means your gain is not exactly the way you wanted. You wanted a gain of A, but it is getting 0.8 A or something like that. It's reduced. So if I want to get the gain A only, then what should be the constraint that we should keep on these resistors? Can anyone tell me?
Sir, that whole sir, we can just remove that R out and RS.
R out and RS. R out and RS cannot be, R out and RS, yeah, you are very close to it. But the problem is, can you tell me the exact figures, like what will that be? R out.
Sir, value of RL will be equal
to
RS.
Zero. Tending to zero.
Value can be zero.
So
value of RL will be addition of RIN and RS.
So will you all agree that R out has to be very, very less than RL? Okay. And then
yes.
What will be the second one? RS has to be
very less than RS.
Very less than RS.
Hoga? Will it be or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Or you can say your Rin has to be very, very large than RS. Rin has to be very, very large than RS. Yehi hoga na? So what is Rin? Rin is actually the property of the amplifier. Can you see this? This is the amplifier, right? And I told you, you cannot see inside. So Rin, what you are saying is Rin has to be very large. And for R out, what you are saying? R out, what you are saying is very, very less than RL. RL cannot be changed because it's a load resistance. It's a speaker that you are connecting. You cannot change that. So R out has to be very, very less than RL. So if you want ideal case, your R out can be 0 and Rin can be infinite or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if that is the case, then this is the property of the amplifier, and the property of the amplifier is that the input resistance of that amplifier should be very high, and ideally it will be infinite, and the output resistance of the amplifier should be very small, and ideally it can be 0. So if this is the situation, then your gain will be actually equal to capital A, and there will be no multiplications with this because all of this will become 1. Understood? So this is the property of the any amplifier, whichever amplifier you use, whether you use operational amplifier, whether you use MOSFET as an amplifier, which you will study later down the course. I do not want to go into the details, but the property of the amplifier will be that its input resistance will be infinite and the output resistance will be 0. That is the most important thing in ideal settings. Okay. So if the input resistance is infinite, then what will happen? We will open circuit it or not?
Yes,
so
sir.
We can open circuit it.
Open circuit.
So we can open circuit. Okay. So this is open circuit. How about this R out? If it is 0, then what we can do?
Short circuit.
Okay.
Short circuit.
So we can make it as a short circuit. Okay. So here will be the current. What will be the current flowing here in this box? If it's open circuit?
0.
Good. So please note this thing. I will explain you, this will come again. So note this point. This current will be 0 if you are using operational amplifiers. So whatever current which is going inside will be, ideally it will be 0, but practically the value will be 10 to the power minus 15. Please mute your mics, whosoever has opened it. So now I hope you understood this, that ideally it will be 0, but practically it will be of 10 to the power minus 15 or so, and this is actually as good as 0 only. Okay. So and the reason why it is 10 to the power minus 15, because nothing is ideal in this world, everything is practical. So because of that practicality, the value will be minus 15 and not 0. Okay.
And sir, why can not we change the value of RS and RL?
Because the important thing is RL cannot be changed because you have a fixed speaker, right? The speaker that you are taking out from the market, you cannot take RL as per your wish. It will be already designed with a specific resistance. So whatever resistance, whatever speaker you have to bear with that. You cannot say to the to the manufacturer that prepare an RL specifically for me, prepare a speaker specifically for me. You will buy a speaker, right? Loudspeaker or whatever, home theater system. The speakers that you will have there is not by your choice. You have to take it from the person who is already creating with a specific load resistance. Okay, so that's why this is not in your hand. And for this voltage source, and similarly same thing goes with the microphone also. So if you have a microphone from where you are speaking, you cannot go inside and tweak this resistance yourself, because it's encapsulated in that microphone, right? So you cannot change it. So that's why this is also not in your hand. Okay, the only thing which is in your hand is how to make your amplifier such that its input resistance is infinity, but not infinity. It will be like 1 mega ohms practically. So 1 mega ohm means close to infinity. And similarly, how to make your amplifier which is in your hand so that your output resistance is, let us say, 10 ohms. So 10 ohms is as good as 0 ohms only. Okay. So this is the thing.
But sir, if a company is there which is manufacturing the whole system, like microphone, amplifier and speaker together, like combined, then they can do changes, right?
Once they have created something, then changes will not be possible. Will you agree on that or not?
Yes, sir. Once they created, then it will not be possible.
Yes.
But while creating it, they can change RS and RL instead of changing that R in and R out.
What I feel is doing this is much easier compared to tweaking with RL and RS, because what happens is, I'll tell you one important thing. Normally what happens is, whenever you are designing speakers for multiple users, like you will be a user, I will be a user, or somebody else is a user, there is a protocol, uniform protocol that electrical community follows, which is actually called as IEEE protocol. Maybe you will hear it later on. So this is basically a protocol which all the electrical and electronics engineer follow. So in this IEEE protocols, they will clearly specify that your resistances should be of some specific value, and it cannot be anything else. And the reason for that is because they want it to be applicable for all the people who are using it, rather than for the specific audience. Okay, so that's why it's very difficult to control these by ourselves, because they are guided by the IEEE protocols. That's why these tweaking of these things are not easy. Okay.
Okay, yes. Means like if we have to use like microphone and speaker with some other amplifier, then we cannot use it.
We can use it. It's easy, because that's what I was saying, because these microphones are designed in such a way that the resistances that they have incorporated in this will be used with normally the amplifiers which are available with you in the market. Okay, but if you want to design yourself, then you have to make sure that these things do the amplifier should have these type of properties, like the resistance should be 1 mega ohm, and this resistance will be around 100 ohms. So that this is 1 mega ohm compared to this 100 ohm will be infinity only. So you try to design yourself the amplifiers with these type of properties. Okay. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I did not understand the derivation of this A1.
Okay.
This, yeah.
What specifically you didn't understand? Can
So,
you?
like how we mentioned that gain is specifically V out by V in, but then you said that
Oh, okay.
you have got that V out by VS.
Okay. Just a second. This will be actually not V out by V in. It will be VS. Now, okay. Because
Yeah.
this is the speaker actually. The person who is speaking in the microphone here should not be
Oh,
this V in.
right.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, and then then you wrote A in both the sides, like A is V out
No,
by
no, no.
VS, and then okay, so then what
This
is that
is
supposed to
this not A. This is actually, you can say G, gain. Okay.
Okay.
That's why I wrote gain here. Okay.
So we have to, so we are supposed to make this this entire expression beside A into 1, right? So we'll get the entire like just A in the gain.
No, we
That-
want to make this expression as A. So in order to make this expression equal to A, what we are trying to discuss is how to tweak these factors which are already less than 1. How to tweak these two factors such that these two factors become equal to 1 and you will get A outside. That is what I was telling. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so let me give you one small a question on this. So let us say you have this as a, whether I should discuss this now or later is the question, because I want to explain something more. Okay, so we will discuss this question later, but right now I will discuss some more things about this operational amplifier. So let me discuss that first. Okay, so what I was telling you is that operational amplifier can be represented like this as a triangle. Okay, we have plus, we have minus, and then we have these voltages, right? We call this as V1, let us say, we call this as V2, and this is your V out, the output terminal of this operational amplifier. So now I think most of you will agree on this, that we will have a reference potential here on ground, and with respect to that reference potential, you are actually calculating V2 and V1. Will you all agree on this or not? Because exactly V1 is not V1, it is V1G, and V2 is not V2, it is V2G actually. Okay? So with respect to ground, you are actually calculating these potentials. They are not present in air. So they are with respect to something. Okay? So you are calculating with respect to grounds. And now if you want to calculate the difference between the two, we are calling it as, let us say, VD. So this VD is nothing but it's V1G minus V2G. And you can easily see that VD will be equal to V12 rather than your G will be cancelled. So it will be V12. So V12 is nothing but V1 minus V2. So it is difference of the voltage. Okay. So now what happens is, operational amplifier, what it does is, it at the output of this node, which is the sixth node, what it does is it actually amplifies with a factor A the difference of these two voltages, V1 minus V2. This is the property of the operational amplifier. So if I want to write it in a more compact fashion, it will be VD. V out is equal to A times VD. So what it is doing, it is actually amplifying by a factor A the difference of the potential between V1 and V2. So VD is V1 minus V2. So whatever difference is that, it will be amplified by a factor of A. As simple as that. Any questions here?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, the connections that we have made, V1 to the non-inverting and the V2 to the inverting side.
Yes.
Could you explain that? Why that has been chosen?
No, there is no specific, reason for that. What I'm trying to say is, you apply a battery like this, okay, to ground. You apply a battery like this to the ground, okay. This is value V1, this is value V2, and what you are observing here is the output voltage this side. Okay, there is no specific. Uh, uh, is it okay now? Like, or you have
So
still?
yeah, I still have doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
By inverting, are we inverting to subtract it?
See, this inverting, non-inverting, you just keep, you have to bear with me for actually 1 or 2 lectures. Then you will clearly got to know like why this inverting and non-inverting makes sense. Okay. Right now you just see them as 2 ports. First port is plus, second port is minus. So there are 2 ports from where you go inside, and you are getting output at the 6th port. We will deal with this inverting, non-inverting in our coming slides. Okay. Or maybe so just keep hold on this for a while. Okay, so so this is, I think this is clear to you guys, right? So we are representing operational amplifiers first of all with triangle, and our output is basically amplified by a factor of A, the difference of the voltages which we are applying at the input. So A times VD. Okay, so next important thing is we can actually replace this by a simple thing that we already discussed in our earlier theory on circuit analysis. And what that is, we can do it like this. This is your ground. These are the 2 terminals that you have, which is plus terminal and minus terminal. So here you have like this. Then you can replace a simple MOSFET or simple operational amplifier like this, A, VD, and then this is your 6th port of this chip design, and the 6th port of this chip, and this is your 3rd port, this is your 2nd port, and the VD is the potential difference across this. Okay, any questions? So what you are doing is you are actually calculating the difference of the potential between the 2 and the 3rd, and then basically then you are amplifying it by a factor of A, which is getting at the output. And note one important thing here. I replaced this amplifier, which is operational amplifier, by this model, and you note here that there is no resistance. Why? Because we showed that the resistance of the ideal amplifier is infinity. That's why we kept it as open. And another important thing is I never kept any resistance here, because we saw that this is actually short. That's why we are not keeping it here. So this is basically a very simple model for operational amplifier, a very simplistic model actually. Any questions on this?
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you told that to keep amplifier as A, sir, can't we do like that way, keep R out and R in to be same as R load, and make A for A like that way?
I didn't get you what you are saying.
Sir, you want to amplify the circuit by A times, okay?
Yes.
Sir, then you told that we have to take that R in to be 0. R in to be 0.
No, R in has to be very large compared to RS.
Be very large, and
yes.
R out to be 0, sir.
Yes, yes.
So in place of that, we can do like that way, R out to be the same as R load.
If that is the case, if you make R out same as R load, will that not be A by 2?
Yes, sir, that only I'm telling. But instead of A, can we take like 4A like that way?
No, why will you do that? Because you are putting R out as R load, your gain is reduced by 2, right? Yes. We want only A.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right?
Okay, sir.
Right now it will be A by 2. We do not want to half the load. Oh, sorry, half the gain. We want to keep it as A itself. Please mute your mic. It's creating trouble. So you cannot make R out equal to RL because of the simple reason that your gain will reduce by 2. Okay, so any questions here related to this discussion?
Yes.
Yes, please.
हमने नीचे की इमेज में ये सेकंड वाले को डायरेक्ट ग्राउंड से कनेक्ट किया है या
नहीं, इट्स नॉट कनेक्टेड टू ग्राउंड हेयर. एक्चुअली में ये जो पोटेंशियल है, this potential is with respect to this ground and this potential is with respect to this. Okay, not connected.
Okay.
Any other question?
Sir, will you be giving example of this?
Yes, we will discuss
Yeah.
more details about it. This is just a starting. You will
Okay,
you will get comfortable after one or two lectures. I know this is a new thing for you. You have never seen this earlier. Do not worry, we will do some good questions so that you will get comfortable with all this in the coming lectures. So we will discuss
Sir?
that later on. But for now, is it okay? Like whatever I have told you here, all of you understood it or not?
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
Yes.
sir, the upper one you have drawn is and the lower the one is both the same thing, right?
Yes, it is both the same thing, but we are actually simplifying this to a very ground level. So we have neglected this resistance, which is actually of very large value. We neglected this resistance, which is very small value. So we neglected all of them. So it's a very simplistic model, so that we can analyze the circuits easily. So the important thing is how to make a practical circuit be realizable in a very simplistic form, so that you can calculate yourself through hands calculation whether your answer is coming right or not. So that is the main purpose of doing this, because you want to solve yourself also. You do not want only the simulator to solve for you and get the answer. Then what will happen is you are actually bound to get answers from simulator. So whatever simulator will say, you will say yeah, it is right. But it should not be like that. The it should be other way around. That is, you should know beforehand what will be the answer, and the simulator should give you that answer. It should not be other way around. So because of that reason, we actually try to simplify this so that we can solve it by our hand easily. That's why we replaced it by this. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question? So I assume that you people understood whatever I have told today. Just repeat this again so that you will get comfortable with whatever I have told today. So because next lectures will be dependent upon all these concepts which I have discussed today itself. So please read it and understand it, because it's a new one, new block. And don't worry, in 2-3 lectures, when I will be solving some questions based on it, you will easily find this block to be much easier than solving your R circuits which we were discussing last time. And you will be shocked to see that this particular topic will be much easier compared to the other topics which we will discuss in future or we had discussed earlier. So this is very easy topic, so do not worry about it. Okay. Any other questions you have, or then I'll close the class otherwise.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I asked you about that controlling the amplification. You said that we
Yeah.
alter the
That
resistance.
one, see, I don't want to go into the details of that right now, but somewhere down the line you can see that here, because the example that I will be taking for that controlling the amplification will be discussed when we will discuss some examples based on that. But right now you can see it from here. So you can see, right? You are getting this, right? So in some of the examples you will find your A, and then there will be ratio of the resistances like this. Do not confuse this with this here. But I'm just giving you a hypothetical cooked up example. So later on in the exercises you will find that there will be something like this. So here, if you want to calculate 3 times A, you know that you can do it by no, it will not be like this. It will be other way around. R1 plus R2 divided by R2 like this. So what you will do is you will take R1 as, let us say, 3R2. So if you take R1 as 3R2, then what is the answer? A times
4 times
4R2 divided by R2. So R2 cancel, so you will have 4 times A. Okay. So if in case you want to decrease the gain, you can make it as you can in that case you can take R2 to be less than R1. So you can make fractions of that A also. Okay. So this way you can control the gains by multiplying the original gain with some factor here. Okay. Similarly, you can find this out here also. Somewhere down the line, we saw that this gain was reducing because of this factor. It is getting less than A, right? So this way you are actually controlling the gain A. And what we tried to see was how to make this A equal to A and how to nullify these effects. So that's why we got these constraints. From these constraints, we got the answer that you got A as A only. Okay. So these resistances, which we will be discussing later on in the op-amp circuits, will help you control the gain. Okay. Any other question?
हेलो सर,
Yes.
हमने आर आर टेंड्स टू इन्फिनिटी किया, तब हमें ओपन सर्किट रखना है और क्लोज सर्किट?
Open circuit. It will be open circuit.
तब उस टाइम पे V इज इक्वल टू 0 होगा?
यहाँ पर जो है,
Yes.
no, why it will be 0? It will be Vs only, right? See, here you have V in, right? So अभी यहाँ current 0 हो गया, so there is no drop here, right? So there is no drop. So whatever voltage you have here will apply to this. So V in will be equal to Vs. It will not be 0. Okay?
Okay. और R is equal to 0, तब हमें क्लोज सर्किट रखना है.
हाँ, तब then it's a closed circuit,
Decide.
right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay then, I think if there are no other doubts, we can close this class today and then we'll meet next time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
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 Thank you.
वो इसका बेड है ना, है बेड, इसका नट बोल्ट होगा, नट बोल्ट पड़ा
अच्छा, एक नट बोल्ट या अच्छा बहुत सारे हैं क्या उसमें? हाँ होगा।